why opposites attract for relationships, why it can be really good to be with someone who's very different from you. And this is not just romantic, but friends and business partners and so on. We're going to go through Welcome in Much Love Trav here. I'm currently in Portland, Oregon. I'm walking around the track here at Laurelhurst Park with my headphones in. I encourage you to do the same. I think one of the best ways to digest info in today's age is through YouTube, especially audio. We spend too much time staring at the screen, which is one of the reasons why I'm not doing the same and why I've turned the video off for a lot of these videos. You plug it in and go for a walk, plug it in on your way to your drive, to your commute, etc., etc. The goal is to absorb information efficiently, and also moving is a good way to learn. So in this discussion, let's crack into the topic of opposites attracting and versus similar traits attracting. So well, we know that we are, on one hand, we're attracted to the familiar. We're very tribal people. Our friends will often look like us. Our partners will often look like us, and often will have certain traits. There's certain comfortability to that. There's a certain baseline understanding. You don't have to explain your story as much. You kind of know when you're more similar. Therefore, it makes sense for likeness to attract, and likeness does attract. Likeness creates friendships, likeness creates relationships, likeness can create good business partners. However, the issue with being too similar, and the reason why it's so beneficial to be different and be attracted to difference, is when we're very similar, we have the same strengths and we have the same weaknesses, we're redundant. We're not going to learn or benefit as much from each other. So for instance, for a business partner, if you and I are both good at big picture sales and marketing type stuff, but we're very poor at, we're both not very good at the fine details of accounting and planning and day-to-day operations and stuff like that, we're going to have a problem because we're weak in the same area, we're strong in the same area, we're redundant. And then similarly for a romantic relationship, if we're both very logical, but weak emotionally, not in tune with our emotions, not good at expressing them and identifying them, we're going to have some problems because we're not helping each other grow in the important way. Now, it's not just about growth though, because the thing is, it's okay to have weaknesses. That's normal. It's okay to be pointy and to be focused. Humans are like ants in the sense that we divide labor and we're supposed to be good at a particular thing. We don't have to be good at everything. So when we're selecting someone to spend time with or attracted to someone to spend time with, it's not just that, oh, I'm going to grow and learn because you have this really nitty analytic mind and I have this big picture mind. It's more that we can cover each other's asses so we don't have to work on that. We don't have to be, we don't have to work on improving that. We can focus just on what we're good at, right? So that's one of the reasons why opposites attract. There's a certain balance to it. There's a certain there's comfort that comes with being very similar, but there's also a certain redundance that comes with that. There's certain limitations that come with that, and it doesn't accelerate growth. You don't cover each other's asses as well and allow each other to focus on what you're good at. When you're different allows you to divide labor more, which is a normal thing. It's a normal thing. You always want to be able to split up and divide, just a time saver. If you're exactly the same, it's not actually necessarily make a good team, right? I mean, you look at any sort of team sports and people play different roles. The first baseman is not a good pitcher, right? The pitcher is not a good catcher, so on and so on. So you find these different people, you bring them into your life, form a better team, makes more sense, right? So when we're attracted to people who are different and people who look different, maybe, that's not necessarily what I mean because of that tribalism thing, but if you have a feminine energy attracts a masculine energy, a A masculine female attracts a feminine male. These different energies complement each other well. You don't want to have too much testosterone. You don't want to have too much estrogen as well in this sort of a thing. You want to have a nice balance and be able to split up. And one benefit is, when it comes, there's a difference between business and self-development for sure. In business, so for business relationships, we really want to split up and do only the thing that we're good at. I don't need to learn any web development. You can do that, right? I'm going to learn none of this. That's great. This works better this way. You do all the web design, you set up the website. I'll handle the client. I'll talk to the clients, right? You don't have to talk to the clients at all. Don't worry about that. Don't work on that. Business, you're trying to double down on your strength and just let your weaknesses be weak. There's too many skills to try to be a jack of all trades, right? However, when it comes to self-development, personal development, and in friend and family and romantic relationships, you don't necessarily want to be too pointy. You can't afford to be like, it can't be like, you express, I'll do all the logical stuff. You do all the emotions. You express all your emotions. I'll continue to be weak at that. I'll learn nothing. That's not going to work very well. Because unlike business and personal development, you can't afford to be weak in certain areas. There's areas that you need to grow from. You're not going to grow from someone who also is weak in that area, from someone who is just like you. You're not challenging each other. You're not showing each other a different paradigm. You're not showing each other a different way of being or a different way of expressing, or you're not bringing it to awareness because you're both bad at that, right? So that's why opposites attract, because it lets us divide labor, it lets us focus on what we're good at, it lets us cover each other's asses, it lets us also learn and improve at some of the things that we're bad at and need to improve on. So I hope you find that useful. Would love to hear what you have to say. I think that a good place to start if you want to apply this immediately is to be self-aware and think about what sort of weaknesses you have and what you're not good at and what you don't want to do in general. I really like the big picture stuff. I really like talking to people. Not all the time, but enough. I like the creative projects and fucking don't really like the accounting and setting up websites and stuff like that. And when it comes to your personal life, you have to be aware of your weaknesses as well, and your strengths as well. I think that that's something that you don't have to share as well. It's something that you can think about, and think about the people around you, who you want to partner with. Again, it's okay to have people around you who are comfortable and familiar. But if that's all you have, you're not going to be challenged to grow, and you're going to limit each other because you're not going to be able to split up and divide and conquer. So I hope you find that useful. Appreciate you. Much love, and look forward to hearing what you have to say in the comments. Peace.